And send. Ooh, you. Yes. You could do some very valuable work here. And then just more, if possible. It's very good. Ooh, okay. And there you go. That, oh, well, that explains why we have been housed for quite some time. Now I realize. So you could fetch us this. If you can. And Mount Hell has called it quits. Alright. So they eventually ran out of resources, I reckon. Which is possible because they have lost quite much of their base. Okay. Oh, I never got this relic. So something happened to this monk. And there was still some gold available. This amount of production buildings is excessive. But perhaps they have played the game before as well. And we are easily over 1k again. Alright. Did they ever have... Okay, so they had 108 villagers. And then they tried to keep their army alive, and they made a better job at that. I think 800 plus games. I don't know if we played this in an unsportsmanship manner by not resigning when they pushed through our base or something. But that is the power of humans. The resources are, so they have 3 cold piles and all the neutral ones are on our side. Also the stones, if I had scouted this, then I would be very happy with the map that we got. And still I didn't realize to use this. But this very imbalanced map on that regard. Oh, but they didn't realize this code was there either. At least not yet. So in that sense we made the wise decision by positioning our town center on the outer cold, because this way we could also more easily escape to the side and get cold from there. Okay, so they found perhaps about the cold, or quite not. Okay, well that's unlucky. So if they've played the map before, then they might have noticed that there is only 2 neutral gold piles and 2 stones available on the map. So the play of theirs is they even research squires, but supplies, even though it only applies to gives this discount to the militia line. Same as with Gambesons, but perhaps they had a plan. Alright, so I was thinking that our boom was a bit too slow when we stayed in the feudal age for so long, but at this stage we are quite even. Resources collected as well. Of course now we don't have very great army to counter this push with, and they've known how to play the game, it seems. But luckily we got some numbers for us, and we are really weakly. Well, there's a word for being very slimy and hard to catch or hard to hold. So our pathing is or perhaps we ordered them to destroy the trebuchet. That might make sense as well. But now they don't produce villagers anymore. Now the push is ongoing. They are probably floating resources because they are not producing anything. They're just focusing on this push. And that's the difference, because, well, soon there will be a difference in that manner, because I think we are doing quite a good job trying to keep queuing something, whereas Maltile here is now, they could have doubled their numbers if they kept on producing, but they are now busy doing skirmishers, perhaps. So the accuracy of these things. Well, but in any case, I think that worked in our favor. Skirmishers aren't really good. Well, then again, against skipjacks and halberdiers, then it sort of makes sense not to waste the cataprats on these ones, but they had huge float of resources that they could have turned into an army, or into a second army. But now we are misleading their units a bit and then destroying the valuable trebuchets. And they can't get there before it's too late. Or is it because we are not actually destroying those trebuchets too well? Well, now we are trying again. Some misplays here and there, but at least we have 37 units in the queue. And then I'm thinking, why don't we have resources, but it's in the queue. 118 villagers, and they are also producing more now, since this push is for a while stopped. I don't know if that was the initial idea, just take the first army and see how far it goes. Logistica, so trample damage for cataprats. But the resources that they had have been spent on researches. Or on research. So they are trying to build this quality army. But this is just, I understand this from like a deathmatch point of view. That's very important to have units popping out constantly, but these could have been few extra farms. 105 villages should be enough, but if you happen to take losses, then it's that much harder to withstand. Now we have 30 more villagers and are slowly perhaps getting ahead of ourselves and ahead of themselves with the resources collected. Let's see how it goes, but at least that's what should happen. Despite the fact that we are going to take very heavy losses, since we didn't get through the walls in some 15 minutes, I think. And this, we should have fought for the gold when we had the chance. But instead we are playing this very frustrating game of flanking the trebuchets while they are trying to play this in the correct fashion. Yeah. Just showing that we are there but not. Eco kills 9-1 and then they are in. And we might lose just a few villagers here. Hello, cat. Up. So 15 villagers and few more might go down. Did we get the research? No. So we should have built an additional blacksmith. I just forgot about that to verify that we had gotten the cavalry armor. It would have made these hussars a bit more tanky than they were. So that's why the game lasted for so long. So here we are getting some villager kills of our own, and perhaps 31. Perhaps we got some here as well then. Delaying the town center and all. But the cavalry armor would be really nice. So good job by them destroying that when they had a chance. Yeah, also upgrading our kipchaks without ever producing too many of those. This is like a sign of frustration. They are floating resources but they can't spend them fast enough. And Halberdier Skirmisher isn't really a very good quality army and they ran out of gold. Okay, that explains it. And they have killed 60 villagers, we are still 20 ahead of them. But it probably doesn't look like that from their point of view, so they know that we have some production here on the side, but the base is... well, they also see that it is there, so I think it would make sense to double check that. Okay, but they couldn't produce without gold. And that's... they're probably just... because there's still quite some gold. 5,600 left there. So once they get that, they're still not seeing that gold on the right. That we didn't see either. So it's the lack of gold that's hindering their push. And now they're also researching Captran. Meanwhile, we should have our very own push underway over here, as you can hear. And all of a sudden they will be losing few villagers of their own, down to 50 villagers, and this push is like slowly progressing, but still. Three more villagers in the queue. We are focusing on the right buildings. But then again, all these farms cost money and all that. These town centers cost stone, so why not? I'm glad that the computer decided to follow the villagers there because, and these are just a little late. Because villagers are hard to replenish, and now they're down to 30. Yep. So we were a bit more wasteful, considering how much resources we have collected and how much we are floating. And they have 10,000 food in the bank, but after they ran out of gold and stone, it's just frustrating trying to. Okay, yeah, so they saw the gold there, but we managed to bypass that ever so slightly. But they knew, so they could have made use of that. Then there's some market game. But alright, so this is where the push starts to wear down, because they are still down to 30 villagers and they don't know about this. They haven't really, well, they've destroyed stuff, but they don't know that we have a rather nice boom going on, and the score claims that we should resign because there's 5k difference. They have killed quite many, like almost double the numbers. So if they have been watching the score and then seeing that they are floating resources, they also, like, I don't know if they ever build enough houses to get to 200, or if we destroyed town centers to drop that number below 200, but I don't think they will recover from this. So here they are trying to build up the forces again, while there's some annoyances in their base. But good job upgrading everything besides the last Podkin arrow. Could have gotten through the gate quite fast, but didn't realize that that was an option. Well, and then the gate goes down, and they're still building their forces here. And then notice what's happening at the latest moment. Alright, so the game boiled down to the fact that they didn't produce more units, even though they were floating 10k food. And they didn't replace the villagers they lost. So despite the fact that they took good fights, like kill the ratio wise, and we are lacking the last armor. Oopsie. The grand scheme is that they are in a terrible position. And so destroying the houses paid off as well. Wasn't sure about that, but it was a good call. Well, they are building new ones somewhere. Or it's just... Alright, at least these houses could be new. But still, we have been pop capped for quite some time now. And just throwing our units in the grinder. And they are slowly going to run out of resources, of course. Well, I didn't notice this in the time. But this was the most important fight, of course. Getting rid of these siege units and the last reminders of their remainings of their army. But yeah. We didn't have too many cold units either. But it felt like we did. But so this is a tricky one, this map, because one could very easily expand around the edges, and if you are having a quality army, then it's of utmost importance to keep it alive. But this is we got lucky in that sense that once the I even trying to raid them, but I don't know if there was anything. No, not too much was left there. So they had these 2 town centers, and that was that. And I didn't even scout that. But we were pop capped and probably had 130 or 40 or some villagers, and then thanks to their raid 153, and then they got through the gates, and suddenly we had some room for army as well. Okay, well, this was exciting game, trying to practice holding this type of aggression, and this time we were even faster, at least on peaks. Alright, thanks you all. That would be the day for today. So we dropped some 50 elo, but we made great progress on learning the mechanics of the game. So thank you for your company. I'll call it quits for a few hours or a few days or a few weeks, as is our custom. So until we meet again, thank you for your time and enjoy your days.